So, talking about time and thought, basically how thought creates time, or the experience of time is created by the passing of thoughts. And I think that it's not even accurate to call it the passing of thoughts, but it's an activity of the mind that generates the experience of thoughts. So I have the way that I think of it is, if consciousness is this light that reveals all simultaneously, then the thinking mind is like a strobe light. It's just like bop, 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 bop. It's breaking up light into photons, like little pockets of light. Like, you know, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. It's a stream. It's like a dotted line. It's like a dotted line of photons. That is exactly what's happening between consciousness and thoughts. What's happening between light and these photons. When we look at light, it doesn't seem to behave like a particle. It seems to behave like a wave. It expands like a wave does, right? Like if you drop a rock in a lake, you see this ripple, this wave expands and simultaneously, it's just expanding like all together, all at once. It's not like over here first and then over there. And if I turn a light in a room, it shows me, it illuminates everything. It's just expanding in a 360 like that. It's not like shooting little bullets over here and hitting. First I see the trash can in the corner, then I see it just does it instantly. It seems instant to us. So consciousness is revealing at the speed of light. It's like being one with. You can't separate the light from the object that is illuminated by the light. Consciousness is like that. It's one with the thing that it's revealing to you. Thoughts is the opposite. It's separating everything. It's like segments. It allows you to freeze frame a tiny portion of consciousness and start giving it qualities, labels, opinions, judgments. Start making it an object, like rarefying it, objectifying it, and making it so real to you, and so real in relation to you, or maybe it's a part of you in relation to something else. And so we're basically taking consciousness, which is everything all at the same time, and like defining it, like giving it parameters, giving it limitations, which is not inherently bad in itself, because we're giving consciousness little limitations. We're splitting up consciousness to make it temporal, to make the eternal seem like a temporal experience, like to give us an experience of one thing at a time, basically. When you're getting a strobe light, you can see, let's say you're dancing, right? Rather than seeing this whole movement, you see one at a time, one frame at a time. Instead of that, you get this one, then this one, then this. It's like one of those old school animated films or old school movies. Is you can freeze the frames and experience, like, it allows you to have like this frame in relationship to that frame, right? So this movement in relationship to that movement. There's like this space. But where it's one full movement, you can't say the movement was here or there. It was all of them. So it allows me to be here or there, and that way I can be in relationship with whatever is on the opposite. It allows relationships and uh, experiences that wouldn't otherwise be possible. So it's really a dance. It's like a play, like a consciousness putting on this dance and this show, so that it can, it's almost like if it wants to be able to experience, let's say I want to experience what it's like to be a villain, but I don't really want to kill anybody. I put on a play and I play the part of the villain in that play. Similarly, consciousness wants to be able to say, let's say I want to be a hero, but I am everything all at once simultaneously. Who can I save? There's no one out there to save. So I extend myself as consciousness, extend a small portion of myself, right? Like I stick out my arm and then I look at it and I go, that arm is, first I say something like, oh, that arm is weak. It's ignorant. It doesn't know what it's doing, right? So I've given it qualities and judgments. Because of this strobe light effect, I can see my hand, and it almost looks like not part of myself. It looks like some object in space that I can judge and label. When I judge it and label it, I'm automatically saying that's not what I am. This is not part of me, right? Because in order to judge it, I have to be outside of it, looking at it. So I'm saying it's not me. So now I can say, oh, I can rescue this thing. I get to be the hero. Without a thing out there to rescue, you can't be a hero. But you know, as being consciousness, that there is no other thing out there. There's nothing out there. There's just, light. It's just consciousness. So it extends itself. Consciousness or mind is an extension of consciousness towards a vibration within consciousness. The vibration within consciousness is the thought. The extension is mind paying attention to that thought. Mind only exists in relationship to an object of its attention. The finite mind, the mind that people refer to when they're like, oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. Or the one when they say me, they usually mean their mind. Some people mean their body, but most of us think of me as being like a conscious agent inside this body looking out through these eyes. And so we think that there's a mind in here, but we kind of know that it's not really in there. It's kind of like here, maybe. We don't know where it is. And that's because it doesn't have a location. It's not a thing. It's an activity. It's a reaching of consciousness. Consciousness looking through a lens at itself. But the lens makes this part of itself seem like a separate entity. It's a vibration. It's a wave in the ocean. The wave in the ocean thinks itself as a separate entity from the ocean, but it's not really a wave, it's just water, right? And that's my favorite metaphor. So I hope that kind of clarifies some of the stuff I was talking about. How time creates, how thought and time are intrinsically tied, and how this thought is like a strobe light to consciousness, if consciousness were light, thought would be a strobe light. That's my point. Any comments would be much appreciated. And I wish everybody a happy holidays. Much love to everybody. God bless.